Oh, breaking news. Donald Trump is safe after gunshots in his vicinity, Republican candidate's campaign says. Is that news breaking? Possibly another assassination attempt on Donald Trump. They're going to stop. Well, maybe we should talk about that. I'll just make some notes, but that's literally just come in on the wires as I started this particular live up. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? It's a bit old. Yeah, right, that'll do. And that. I'll get to your comments in a moment. Just need to make that. Yeah, we'll talk about that tonight. Definitely. Like that. Don't need that. Before anybody asks about the cough, thank you very much. I think there's a bit of winteriness going around because the old chest is a bit tight and the cough and the snottiness and I don't, because of what happened 4 years ago, I don't take dairy on board at all, so I don't have sinuses blocked with dairy and gunge. So I think the cough is the worst thing about it. So it could be Charlie 19, like a really weak variant of it as it gets weaker and weaker and weaker. Who knows? But there is Charlie 19 going around definitely. Sorry, that's a little warm. Let's have a look at some of your comments if you bear with me a second. I'm sure. Oh, I don't want to know about Prince Harry. Fucking waste of space. So welcome to this particular Sunday sermon. Make sure that if you are in the pews, you make enough room for everybody else to squeeze in. We don't want pew wars again this Sunday, which was quite funny. But I am looking forward to your wit and repartee this evening in the body of the kirk. It is a broad kirk, so everybody is welcome. We don't judge here. Cleanliness is next to godliness, as they say. So I do hope that you're just out of the shower. Oh yes, I need these to read, bizarrely. So Andrew James says, sorry for being a little early, the irreverent reverend. I want the pew next to the radiator. Your flock will be here, but they are in Tucker 69's tuck shop. Got to make a shekel or three. Alan says to Andrew James, has nicked my pew. Looks like Starmer stole his winter fuel allowance. Very good. Oh, hello. Tab Block Tracy's in early. Is she keen? Buy one, get one free on pork scratchings. Then Bovril has been picking his psoriasis again. Pickled gherkins and silver skin onions available from the graveyard catering truck. Hot Bovril, only £1. So is this us moving outside again? I mean, we can go into the graveyard if you want. They're all stiff in there, which is possibly what Tower Block Tracy wants. Andrew James, we smell you coming in. Alan thought it was the local fit. Oh, steady on, Andrew. Stuart, evening, Rev. I'm never normally here this early, but I want to secure my pew next to the window because I love the cold. The colder, the better. Me too, Stuart. Wim Hof, big fan. Andy Turner, hello, ya wrong'uns. Again, my finger has been a bit quick on the trigger. I need to make that a little more smooth. Andy Turner says to Tower Block Tracy, hey, Tracy, if you did pickled eggs, it's a joke in there somewhere. Andrew James, Stuart, the Rev will be pleased with you wasting good energy and putting up his electric bill. Well, no, somebody, was it Stuart that says he likes the cold? Likes the cold. We're going to talk about the winter fuel allowance. The Kirk isn't allowed any because seemingly the pittance that I get from being part of the ministry counts. So no winter fuel allowance, none here. Alan says, I hear that Starmer's starting a pancake club in his village. No one can toss like he can. Oh, you should join the Bee Gees, or Le Tosseurs, as they were known before the Bee Gees. Karina Jane, good evening, Adrian, and all. Good evening, Karina. Yeah, wrongin'. Bovril, evening all. Poor old Starmer. He. Billy no mates. He can't even take his very posh accent across the pond to America, where they love a good English accent. And, well, he's still Billy no mates. Because even President Poopy Pants, who can't remember what he had for breakfast this morning, or even who he is at times, still doesn't like Sir Keir Starmer. Bless him. Amalia Grassi, hello all. Hard to pull myself away from Netflix into the fire. The Lost Daughter. What? The actual? I don't even know what that is, Amalia. I never get a chance to watch any TV as it seems to be nowadays. But thank you for the heads up. Rhea Odell just finishing watching Amy Winehouse biopic. Interesting watch. Yes. Watched that and went to the pub. What's the pub in Camden called? Went with the new Mrs. Allen. Might have been about a year. Was it? It might have been spring this year. We went and we had to go into the pub, and there's autographed pictures of her in this particular pub. Can't remember what it is. It's in the biopic though. Very good watch. I felt that they the boyfriend, the ne'er-do-well, the one that got it into gear, seemingly, Blake, he was kind of a little whitewashed for me. It was a little sympathetic to him, is all I can say. Fabulous voice, an amazing talent. She's part of the 27 Club. Do you know, have you heard of that? The 27 Club is people like Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix and Amy Winehouse and others that all died. Great talents all died aged 27. Isn't it a bit bizarre? If you can hear any sort of background noise, then it's not fireworks. I'm actually broadcasting live from Fallujah, or Gaza, if you wish. In the field, hey folks, how y'all doing in the field? Welcome. Yeah, wrongin'. Sorry, Ria. I do hope you enjoyed the biopic. I thought it was a lovely bit of entertainment. It's a shame she went down the road that she went down. I know a little bit more about her activities in Camden, but don't really want to, spit on the grave, as a film once opined back in the day when you couldn't watch that. Now, look, back in the 80s, when we got those VHS and Betamax recorders, tape recorders, and Betamax was the better quality, but VHS had more. It had more naughty stuff, so people went for the naughty stuff and stuff. And there were these horror movies that it was like contraband. Yeah, you had to get them under the counter in brown paper bags, and you took them home and you watched them. And I remember watching the film I Spit on Your Grave, and it was a bit out there, a bit like not Reservoir Dogs, Straw Dogs and stuff that you couldn't really get. And Clockwork Orange, you couldn't get it because it had been pulled. So all of that kind of stuff you could get. It was like trying to find a good steak in World War II. It was always under the counter if you knew the butcher. And if you knew the video store owner, he might actually have had one or two stuff. And I remember watching it thinking, well, that wasn't really anything. There was a film I watched once called Faces of Death. Don't know whether you've ever seen that. Oh, that was brutal. That was brutal. But now it's 2024 and it's like, oh, is that it? So you could watch those now. They're available anywhere. But over the last 40 years, it was a bit like, the Alf Garnett, Till Death Do Us Part and Love Thy Neighbour. So you could get away with Love Thy Neighbour and Till Death Do Us Part. But, no, can't have any sex on the telly. No. Can you remember the time where they had that little warning? Was it a Monday night? So they didn't they have Play Misty for Me? Clint Eastwood on one night, and I had this little warning in the corner going, no, don't watch this. No, it'll ruin your life. And you watched it and went, so what was that all about then? And so we could have love thy neighbour and till death do us part, but no, humpy stuff, horizontal jogging, stuff on the telly whatsoever. They will put warnings on. Now, it's everywhere. In fact, if they want you to watch something, they'll have like lipstick lesbians on. They'll think, what will get us an audience? But race, can't even talk about it. So look at how we've changed in 40 odd 50 years. So hope you enjoyed it, Ria. Paul Moreton, evening, Paul. Evening, all. Tracy, have you got any sausage rolls left? Don't be asking Tower Block Tracy if she wants a sausage. that would be committing suicide, basically. Bovril and Andrew James, his Asian mate, the one with the number 10 pass. Oh yes, Lord Ali, not as in Muhammad Ali, the boxer. Mind you, who's dropped more boxers than Muhammad Ali? Kamala Harris. Super Ted says, evening, Adrian, 12-hour overtime shift done. Shower done. Now it's time for a couple of beers and I'll listen to the master. They call me Bates. You're wrong, Super Ted. We have got some stuff tonight that we're going to talk about Billy No Mates, otherwise known to you and me as Mr. and Mrs. Starmer. We're going to talk about Kamala Harris and Trump. Now, as I say, just as we came on air, there were gunshots in the vicinity of Donald Trump. I don't know whether anybody's monitoring any of the other social media to see exactly what's what, but I mean, when he was doing his speeches to the masses, they put bulletproof glass in front of him to stop any of this. I mean, they are becoming and I'm going to explain who they are in just a little while, but they are becoming increasingly desperate. I've seen Kamala Harris being interviewed today, or some reportage, and I'm going to talk about that. Do you think they've got stacks and bottles and bottles and bottles, maybe crates of cooking sherry in her kitchen? Because I'm sure it's like one for the pot, two for Kamala. Just my opinion, in my view, the slurry words are slurry words. I wonder what's bringing that on. Could be medical, or maybe it's the, as my mate Mike Elliott said, I've been on the cough mixture, it makes us feel drowsy and slurs me speech. Mike, you're wrong. Mike's no longer with us, but that was a huge event in the life of Century Radio in the Northeast. Just because Mike was a star, darling. He was in Billy Elliot and a great comedian, but maybe Kamala is suffering from Charlie 19 and needs a cough mixture, and the cough mixture's for making her feel a bit slurred and drowsy. I do hope so, rather than cooking sherry, because cooking sherry can lead, mother's ruin can lead one astray. Yeah, utter wrong. Oh, by the way, kindly, as you come into the body of the cook and get into the pew, so long as you've got your altar wine and your Battenberg, you will need your Battenberg this evening, because what I'm about to tell you might loosen your stools a little bit. But as you come in, just, click, smash the likes. You're utter wrong. And while I do this and get everybody's feet under the table, Lauren, Amala Grassi, Ria, Netflix too. I could never understand what the attraction was with Amy. Her music never appealed to me. Voice sounded so forced. I know people loved her. Well, it's horses for courses, Amalia. I know that, what was the song? I love your ginger hair and the way you love to dress. Valerie. So I know that Mark Ronson and Amy did Valerie, but that actually was a cover version. It wasn't the original. I think it was just a cover version. I'm trying to think desperately of the band that did Valerie first. And, she had a beautiful jazz voice, but it had to be, for me, in the right surroundings. Never saw her live, sadly. I would like to have done, but then again, I would love to have seen Prince live and didn't, sadly. Lauren Taylor, evening all you utter wrong-uns. Hope everyone's well, got a drink and ready for the rev. Thank you, Lauren, the irreverent reverend. Karen Boo UK, evening all. Hope everyone is well, and you too, Karen. All of the usual suspects. Johnny Ray, good evening, Adrian, and all the utter wrong-uns in the kirk. welcome, Johnny. The body of the Kirk is a broad Kirk. It welcomes everyone. There's no judgment here, unless you're Keir Starmer and Joe Biden, in which case we just all laugh at them. Paul Moreton, I wonder if the Rev will mention Jay Blades, more BBC wrong-uns. Yeah. Now, anybody that's watched this channel for any amount of time know that I won't stand for perverts. I won't stand for men that are not really men, because men never, under any circumstances, raise their hands to a woman or mentally or emotionally abuse them. I mean, I know, you know, women sometimes, forgive me, ladies, but sometimes you're enough to make a saint swear. But I was always taught from a very young age, and I loved my mum with everything that I am. God, you could say mummy's boy, but then there's daddy's girls. But my dad always used to say to me, you raise your hands to a woman, you'll deal with me. And because I respected my mum, I still respect her, still love her a bit. I've never, and you know, I've thankfully never really had cause to. Although they do, some of the women that I would loosely call partners have, well, they're going to have to face themselves one day for all their shenanigans, all of them. But Jay Blades, I'm not sure. I kind of got it really quickly in the papers today. I think he. Let me just have a quick look, because if he's in court, and I'm sure I've seen pictures. No, Strictly's everywhere, man. I don't know whether you've seen the first episode or not. Now ban all phones in schools. The kids, man, they're just not. So, you know, when I think it was either Wednesday or last Sunday, we were talking. Oh, there we go. Kelly Brook, we booked into a sex hotel. Oi, fat lass, off you go. You've had your moment. Please don't bother us. What are you selling this time? I saw her on Big Breakfast. She's not the brightest. In my view, just a personal opinion. No, it's not in here. Where would it have been? Yeah, it might be in there. That's the Sunday Mirror. I think it might have been. It might have been in the Times. It might be. I was just reading up on Eamon and what's his face? What's her face? And I mean, I'm not. I mean, I do like Eamon Holmes. Anyone that goes on Loose Women, they just they pique my ire, because I just think they're as thick as pig shit. Personal view, I'm allowed it. But there's, do you know, I'm gonna look in every bloody paper, and I bet it's the last one I look in, because it's got pictures of Jay Blades. And everybody sucking on the carcass of Sven Goran Eriksson. Bless them. No. Seemingly Kelly Brook. Do you know the headline is today? Not that I'm going to give a review of the papers right here, right now. But yeah, we've got 172 people. Hit the likes, you wrong, and I'm busting me sphericals here. Bad news after 2 decades of stunning photo shoots. Why I won't do any more calendars. Is that because you're carrying your little brother in the beam? Kelly. Carrying a bit of timber. Kelly. Personal opinion. Right, I'm going to have a look in the mail, because it must be. The assisted dying bill set to be rushed into law. Oh. Honestly. I was going to talk about ginger sphericals. Maybe we'll do that. But I want to get to this Jay Blades thing. I need to... Because a lot of YouTubers are not au fait with the law until they need to know the law, and I've seen it. I've seen a picture of him today. Single men in 60s who use surrogates to have babies. Ugh. Hang on, I thought men can have babies now. What's going on in 2024? Why would men in the 60s need to use a surrogate? Or if your hair colour's ginger and you might be royal, a few of them. Well, why would you need to use surrogates? Men can have children nowadays. I'm being facetious before you start. I haven't even got finished off the... who was it that mentioned Paul Morton? Dear Lord. Can somebody just Google, see if Jay Blades has been charged? Whether he's been arrested and charged, maybe domestic abuse, I don't know what it is. And my live defence is that I don't... Why have I not? It can't be in the Times unless it was yesterday's. Anyway, let's... So I wasn't going to talk about Jay Blades because, as I say, without stirring up a hornet's nest here, there is distinct differences between men and women. And it boils down to strength. So you can't really have women go into men's weightlifting competitions in the Olympics because they'd barely be able to lift a tray of drinks for these behemoths, these big lads that are chucking around tons. And it's, you know, if you see fights online and there's more and more and more of that happening, then it's best that the women stay out of it because they can get damaged. So I am not accepting, aligned, or understanding of domestic violence or domestic abuse, whether it's mental, physical, or emotional, from either side of a relationship. I mean, I know some gay couples that are just worse than the breeders. So if anybody can, while I do the mentions, the comments. Oh, tough audience. Well, I tell you, you'd be smashing the likes by the end of it, you wrong'uns. I'm only going to do probably about an hour and a half or so, because I've got to be up very early in the morning for lots of stuff. So the stuff that I don't get done tonight, I'm thinking about doing a live either tomorrow during the day or Tuesday during the day, just to mop up everything. There's a whole load of comments on the videos and the lives that I've released over the past couple of weeks, and I want to get to those because there's some people like Terry Wuckfit who always... put excellent comments on videos, and I just want to give them a wider audience. So over the next couple of days, I'm going to be very, 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 very busy in amongst all life stuff and the allotment and stuff. So we'll do about 90 minutes tonight, 9:30, 9:45, I think. So Paul, if I can get the SP on Jay Blades, is he at court? Has he been charged? Otherwise, if that's not so and he's only been arrested, then we can possibly dance around a general subject, which is what I've done at the beginning of this live. Can't talk about the particulars of that case, but I need to know. It's called sub judice, under the judge. And a lot of people don't understand. So basically, once it's under the judge, leave it alone, because the beak can pull you in front of the court and go, "Oh, wrong'un, what do you think you were doing, man?" And you can... It might not get a fair trial if someone is in front of the judge for any particular reason. Amalia Grassi, what did Jay do? Always seemed like a nice guy. Oh, Amalia, you need to do some Googling. Peter Sadler, evening Adrian, and evening everyone. Evening Peter, yeah, wrong'un. Lauren Taylor, me too, very maudlin. Bit like Leonard Cohen and Dylan. Who? Oh, Amy. Leonard Cohen. Yeah, yeah. I kind of get that, Lauren, and Dylan a bit nasally, and I think he was intimidated by the Beatles, to be fair, but he's still around. One time liked his bananas green, can't really say any more than that. In the field, here he is. Oh, hello, that must have been me then. Vix Tex, hello, you're wrong. Kathy Harper, good evening all, and Amroth, must be a first. Good evening, Amroth, yeah, wrong. Orokida, Aldo. Oh, can I tell you something? There's I'm kind of talking out of school here, but there's one thing I love about social media at the moment. Everybody thinks that they're right. There's all this kind of frisson of entitlement going through social media, and I know it's from Charlie 19 in 2020, where we were told, it's only going to be 6 weeks. Yeah, the blonde fat lad, it's only going to be 6 weeks. And then he catches it. Oh, hey, lock him down for 2 years. Amroth says, nah, no colds going about. You need to eat and exercise more. Thank you very much. What, 75, 25? Eat more? 75? Exercise 25. Please. In the field, what happened 4 years ago? Mad cow disease. The milk is okay now, Adrian. I don't drink it in the field. I don't take. I mean, think about it. Who was the first human that saw the big lump and went, oh, look at that underneath there. It looks like, do you know, Adam, that looks like what you've got. Eve, don't touch it. Oh, my Adam, I've got to give it a tug. Look, I tell you what, Adam, I'll give it a tug, and whatever comes out of that, I'll drink. Oh, Eve. Jezebel. Go on, then. Oh, yeah, Adam, look at that. It's white. Comes out white. What we... I said I was going to drink it, didn't I? Yes, Eve, you did. Right. Down in one. Otherwise, Cain and Abel will be at you. Is that right? Biblical references. Just in case you're not into it. Depends which persuasion you are. As in religious, you're wrong. But I blame Eve. Not only did she eat the apple off the tree, which is a metaphor, you're wrong. She's obviously been the first humans to see a cow and gone, right, I'm going to give that a tug, and whatever comes out, it's a bit like yours, Adam, whatever comes out, I'm going to drink. I bet Adam couldn't leave her alone for weeks. Lee Enfield, coercive behaviour, apparently. Thank you, Lee. Is that illegal? Who's that? Amalia says, to Lauren, you're the first person I've ever heard say that apart from me. Good to know I'm not alone there. Thought it was a bit shite, to be honest, along with most pop music. I'm such a snob. No, I'm with you, Amalia. Don't get me on the music, because we know what happens. Like, Taylor, shite Swift. Do you know that she came out? Not out before you start. You know what I think. Not out, but she came out in support of Kamala Harris and lost about 150 million quid in stuff. People are not buying it. Well, they won't go broke. Yeah, stick up for the sisters. You got something to tell us, Taylor? I remember back in the 80s when just not this is not related to anything. I'm just kind of randomly saying this about pop music. When I told everyone that Whitney Houston liked the rug munching, and people were like, "No, get away! She's with Bobby Brown." I was like, "No. She's had affairs with very, very, very famous people, and let's just say." But I'm not judging. No, I'm not judging. And then, and like George Michael, I've got listen, the Wham kids, the girls that used to hang around outside of Radio T's and TFM. Oh, I used to say, no, George is gay, man. He's gay. They're like, no, he's not. No, he's not. How dare you? Threatening to beat me up and everything. I used to just laugh. I just said, well, it'll come out eventually. And sure enough, out he came. It's like one of my favourite gags. What's Wellington Boot and George Michael have in common? They both get sucked off in bogs. Fred Barker liked. Thank you, Fred. Penny Hen. Lovely to see you, Adrian. Lovely to see you, Penny Hen. Good to have you back in the body of the Kirk. I need to get on with what I'm talking about. From the chair and Karina Jane. Manflow. Yeah, I'm dying. Stuart says, worst part of Charlie 19 for me was the aches and pains and the fatigue. Agree with you, Stuart. New Mrs. Allen had the spotty thingy going on. Thankfully, I didn't. But there was a time where maybe I was off work last year, and I was very, very poorly. I had it originally, so it was just like fatigue, stay in bed for 5 weeks, tell a doctor that you're next to death's door, tell work that you can't come in because you'll cough over everybody, so you need at least 3 months off. All that was going on. You know, this working from home malarkey. Absolutely. Stuff them. Working from home. Got a bit of a cough. Don't want to come into work because if I start coughing, it'll go everywhere. You'll have to clean all the surfaces. And they were putting up plastic screens so that you couldn't cough. And if you were coughing, they were like, oh, we're all going to die. No. Did it stuff. Mind you, being type 2 diabetic, they were like, are you type 2 diabetic? Yeah. Oh, you're one of the high-risk groups. Right, go home, go home. Well, what do you mean? No, it's fine. Honestly, I feel fine. No, you're going home. You're a high-risk group. How long can I stay off? 6 months. Ka-ching. I was just doing as I was told. And I know others, I won't name them, others went, yeah, I'm type 2 diabetic too. Oh, how many chocolate bars you had to eat this morning? Yeah, fat old tart. Well, I mean, blood sugars are all over the place. There will be if you're eating all the chunky Kit Kats. So they had 6 months off work because they were at it. They were lying out their backside. So all that working from home work, it's just the unsnivel servants who are just at it, man. At it. So all evening from Nikki Watson. Evening, Nikki, you're wrong. Leah, evening, Adrian, evening all. Oh, the regulars are in the body of the Kirk this evening. I see it's filling up very quickly. So let's... Oh, Andy Turner, just give all the awards to Ant and Dec. Why the two clowns? Hang on, what was that, Philip Schofield? Who's dropped more boxes than Muhammad Ali? Philip Schofield. Kathy Harper, what are you saying now? Piers Morgan seems to be getting friendly with Starmer. Oh, well, yeah, he's blowing smoke up everybody's backside, including Queen Camilla. You know, him and Clarkson had lunch with the Queen. Why would they have lunch with Queen Camilla? I don't know either. Jackie Glasgow, welcome to the body of the Kirk. I went in the common room the other day and one of the neighbours was doing a COVID test. Thought people had got over that one. Well, me too. A dear friend of mine who will be watching this, possibly on catch-up, with him and his good missus, his dear wife, they were feeling a bit rough. Now, just slightly older than me, just a couple of years. So just as we've got some of those test things. Remember those PCR test things, darling? Yes, we've got a couple left. Should we just take a test? Oh, go on then. Both tested positive. He tested positive first. 3 days later, she tested. But it is still going around, and people are at it. Well, I'll have a week off work. Yeah, no, I've got the Charlie 19 I can't come into work, man. I'm not feeling very well. And there's all these people at it, especially in, like Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds, all the major conurbations. Lauren Taylor says, nobody gives a shite about their sexual preferences or their pronouns. Just be honest and stop ripping the plebs, i.e. us, off. I agree. Completely agree. Thank you, Lauren. And there's no such thing as a truism like this. Alan says, Keith Richards will outlive all of us. I know. And Johnny Depp. Kevin Rowlands. Surely not the Kevin Rowlands. Starmer, Piers, Morgan, Establishment, Muppets. Puppets. Yeah. Watch with Mother. I don't know whether you're old enough to remember that. But Jeremy Clarkson and Piers Morgan would have been on there. The Flower Pot Men. Weed. Oh, if you insist. Is it legal yet? Des Ashton, my can of beer tested positive. Wonderful, Des. So let's get in, because we've kind of gone around the houses and there's some really, really, really important stuff. Because I could wind up dead because of some of the stuff I'm going to give you tonight. Because a whistleblower already has. I'm going to tell you that little story. Because this is not funny. If as anybody, will somebody keep checking on the socials to see what's going on with Trump? Because just as I came live, it looks like there were gunshots in Donald Trump's vicinity. Now, some of the Democrats are like, oh no, he had that thing on his ear, and now he hasn't got a thing on his ear, and he hasn't got any stitches on his ear. The bloke was shot at. And all these these Americans, dear Lord, I've shit more intelligent stuff than the Americans. What, oh? Oh, we were founded in 1776. Lovely. We weren't. We've had 2,000 years worth of heritage in this country, and you've only got your bloody heritage because our king decided it was getting a bit too tasty for him to start collecting taxes. That's the only reason, and now, oh dear, you are a warmongering country. So, I'll get Starmer in a minute. Andrew James says you need to put on Newsmax in the background, Rev. I agree, Andrew, but I'm doing 20 things at once now. Trying to monitor that is Vic's text. They're trying to tell us it never happened. Fan my brow. Of course they are, because every which way they are going to. Hang on. Hayden says Donald Trump is safe following gunshots in his vicinity, his campaign has said in a statement. I told you at the beginning of the year that they will pull every single stunt to stop him becoming president. Every single stunt, including that dippy mare called Kamala Harris. I mean, anyway, let's get into it, because I will get there eventually. So the next live is this coming Wednesday, which just happens to be the 18th of September. Tempest Fugit in 2024 for sure. So the next live is this coming Wednesday, 8 p.m, of course. Thank you to the legendary Battenbergers who supported the channel very generously on Wednesday evening. That's Nuki Brown, if they're in the body of the Kirk this evening. To Rich, as ever, thank you, Rich. To Neil Cunningham, again, thank you for your kindness, Neil. To Karen, thank you, Karen. And Stuart and Paul Morton. All of you continue to support the channel in the best way possible, and I do appreciate it, every single one of you. So the legendary Battenbergers this evening have been acknowledged for their support and kindness. So welcome to this evening's sermon. It's going to be a sermon of hope and happiness and holding the political feet to the fire. Well, mainly Ginger Growler and Two-Tier Kia and Starmageddon. Starmer the Harmer. Yeah, him. So, as a quick reminder, as we head into winter, as we've just been talking about it, the moderator says follow on X. It's at Adrian Allen. Just in case you can't spell, it's my real name, ADRIANALL, Echo November, the kind of Irish spelling. It's a Celtic spelling. The AN comes from Normandy, I think. The EN is kind of, we've been around for the best part of 1,500 years on this separate isle. Longer than the bloody Saxe Coburgs, let me tell you. I should be king of this country, myself. Mind you, I'd be better dressed. So a quick reminder as we head into winter that the unjibber-jabbered were never a threat to society. The unjibber-jabbered were never a threat to society. They were a threat to tyranny and authority. I'll leave that with you. Hang on. Where's Fergal Sharkey gone? Fergal Sharkey came to look at the local river 3 weeks ago. What did he do? Walk up and go, well, yeah, that's a river. I can confirm that's a river. And then get back in his car and leave. Albert Metcalf. Albert, good to have you back in the body of the Kirk. Trump rushed to safety after Secret Service opens fire on suspect at Palm Beach Golf Club. Oh, really? Ooh. If I may opine for a moment, I believe they're doing this to scare him. Because, look, if you're staring down the barrel of a gun, how would you react? What would you do? Do you have the kahunas to kind of go to the rest of America, fight, fight, fight? Or would you go, right, lads, I've had enough. No. Fine, give it to her. I don't care. I'm an old boy now. I can go and play golf every day. Stuff it. I mean, have you seen how tall Baron Trump is? He's like 8 foot tall. Give it to him. I don't care. I've had enough. Would you? Or would you keep going, fight, fight, fight? Because if somebody has taken shots at him, the Democrats are coming out now and saying that it was government backed, CIA backed. Fern says Fergal came to our town to support the Labour Party. Did he, Fern? I've met Fergal. interviewed him a couple of times. He was part of the radio authority at one point. Not quite sure how we managed that with Teenage Kicks. Have you listened to the lyrics? Amalia Grassi, Scarpa Evening, Nigel Beasley. Anybody see the clip of Starmer at the races today? People shouting at him, calling him a merchant banger. Yeah, it's on. Because there are things that I can't post here. And at the moment, I can post them on X. So I post them on X. That clip is on my profile on X. I posted it a few hours ago, earlier. Thank you for the link, moderator. Pennine Counties, Wiggy. Could he came to do a video with the arse of a... I've no idea what that means. Aidan said it again. Breaking Donald Trump is safe following gunshots in his vicinity. An AK-47 automatic rifle was found in the bushes. Push, push in the bush, as the song once said. Is it just theatre to kind of get us go, ooh? Is it just theatre? Because, you know, politics is the entertainment arm of the military-industrial complex for uglies. It's. I mean, you can't really say that. Vix Tex saw the clip. Love to know your thoughts. But he was at the races. Can't have been today, surely, because his body clock must be all over the place. He went across to Washington to see President Poopy Pants. Sleepy Joe. Did he wake him up with an ice cream? Thank you, B. Solix. Much appreciated. Belinda Jane Harris. Belinda Jane. I think Starmer has a swinging brick for a heart. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Collett. Adrian, I joined X recently to follow you. I've tried to keep my comments funny. I've now got 52 female followers and a Liverpool supporter troll. Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you. Is it Matthew or Michael? I will reply to you on X just to kind of acknowledge the fact that you joined, just for the stuff that I put out. So, just a random thought. Can you remember, I don't know whether you have a Facebook profile or any of the other socials. Can you remember back in the day, everybody was posting on their Facebook, I'm safe, I've had me jibber jabber. I bet they're regretting that now. People have died from that. And notice how we were all shamed by them. The righteous. Oh, I've had mine today. I've taken it up the arse. Yes. That's the Isle of Arras, before you say anything. And Anita Harris, there was me thinking that was an operation for piles. So we were shamed by those in the public eye, whether it be comedians or social commentators like Piers Morgan, and people saying, "Oh, they should be taken out and flogged," and this, that, and the other. But we were all shamed into seemingly doing what they want us to do. Well, I don't give a flying ferret what people think of me, so I don't care. I will do my research, and they try to shame people for trying to get information. You know, when it was coming out, and we were not just out, but they were. Some of my friends, the critical thinkers, were like, hang on a second. Before I do this, I need to get some information. And I spoke to my doctor about it, and he's like, well, there's a leaflet. Not too sure. Yes, we're giving it away. And I said, oh, what are the side effects? Don't know. You need to read the leaflets. And I was like, yeah, no problem. I'll a little bedtime reading. But some people, the social commentators, the comedians and other idiots, they were shaming us for trying to get information. It was information about a medical treatment that was experimental, because it takes 5 years to become a jibber jabber. 5 years. We're still not 5 years down the line, and people were taking it because they thought it was. And again, I'm not judging anyone at all. Everybody was just trying to do the right thing. Do you not think? It was a treatment, in some cases, that people had to take or lose their jobs. Remember this Rod Stewart lookalike that's in the media going, oh, I'm gone, I'm leaving because Labour are just, they're going to tax us all. It was that idiot that was telling his plumbers, you need to have the jibber jabber or you're going to lose your job. And I believe very firmly that every single firm that made their employees and freelancers take the jibber jabber, they need to be taken to court and bankrupted. Every single one of them. Why? Because they should have had more nous about something that was experimental, and now the explosion of turbo cancers and sudden deaths. I mean, every day we see sports stars, young people in the prime of their life, keeling over, dead. And some of these, you've got to have the jibber jabber. Well, no. In the words of the great Chinese philosopher, you can foxtrot Oscar. And technically, they shouldn't have been able to ask you whether you had or you hadn't. It should have been between you and your conscience. Because I know that fat lad Johnson, who, loved a beer, loved a party, whilst everybody else was locked down, according to what I read in the newspapers, and the inquiry is still ongoing. Ooh, I can't wait for their output. Might take another couple of years. But he was saying, right, we have emergency measures. And I mean, I don't know which bit of. How can you trust a politician? You can't, because they just lie. Starmer, vote for change. And then I'll lie out of me backside. Starmer, stop the boats, stop the boats. Give France £500 million. And what did they do? Naff all. Who got the 500? Don't even start me on Rwanda. Who got the 500 million that they gave to France? Or should I say, who got the government contracts? Because you know how money laundering works, don't you? One government gives it to another government to spend. But the government, there is an agreement that the second government who got the money has to buy goods from the first government that gave them the money. Look at Ukraine. It's called money laundering, money washing, if you want the technical term. So did Sunak, rich boy, give it to El Presidente of France, either his husband or his husband, and go, right, here, buy the stuff from us? And shall we build the Ben Gurion Canal together like we did with the Egyptian canal, the Suez Canal? Because it was the Americans, the French, and the Brits that built the Suez Canal, and then Egypt just took it over, going, oh, lads, here, up yours, off you go. So that's how they work. Get the government contracts. That's what it's about. That's Tony Blair. It's in the Times today. Oh, Tony's returning under Starmer. So it was all about shaming you and I in getting the jibber jabber. You'll lose your job. You'll lose your teeth if you keep saying that to me. Actually, I know somebody who's got like Rod Stewart hair, and I think he must have been to Turkey for his teeth. Have you seen him? And those that were refusing to take the jibber jabber couldn't travel. Remember that? Oh, we had to have face nappies while we were on aeroplanes. What the bloody hell? I mean, how many people did that kill? Not as many as the war in Ukraine. Again, I'm being facetious. Georgia Guidestones. They wanted those exploded so that you couldn't find out the real truth from our antiquity. Andy Turner said, what happened to the money they gave to Dyson and Branson? Was it Dyson was going to make respirators and never did? Now, this is getting into an area where I have to be very careful. But I know friends that went on respirators and died. So I don't know, truthfully, whether it was the respirators or Charlie 19 or what it was that killed them. Maybe it was underlying health conditions. I don't know. But I don't know anybody, including Dead Derek, who went into a respirator and came out any better. But you may know, and you can tell me. And the narrative was, please don't tell me that you're doing your own research. Well, I did. So before Charlie 19, doing your own research was called reading. And I just thought to myself at the time, oh, now you're trying to shame me for reading? How stupid are you? And how much money are you taking from the government? We know that influencers took money from the government to say certain things to embolden the narrative. Some of the doctors on the telly, oh my Lord, how many brown envelopes can you shove in your arse pocket? Aye, mate. So they were all at it. They were all, how much would you like? How much have you got? So they're wagging their fingers on behalf of Big Pharma. Only they didn't realise who they were wagging their finger for. They were just taking the brown envelopes. They were just, yeah, I'll do that for you. Don't worry. Just give me surgery a few bob, or I'll just take a little nod and a wink and a nudge. And some people were making like £30,000 and £40,000 from just telling everybody to take the jibber jabber. I mean, the propaganda was injected so deeply that everybody, and as I say, we don't judge on this channel at all, but we know that people were trying to do the right thing, but they were trying to do the right thing in an environment where you were being shamed if you did the right thing, which was do your own research and then make a decision, an informed decision on what you wanted to do or not. Me, I just worked on the gut biome. Seemingly now, the scientists are going, oh, I say, we have a couple of brains. We have a heart brain and we have a head brain and we've got a gut brain. That instinct that tells you, actually, I'm not going to take the jibber jabber. I'll take extra vitamin D and I'll take other things like zinc and other supplements. And although I do say that it could have turned out much worse for me, but I was very lucky. Didn't take ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine, as President Donald Trump at the time said. And they took the mickey out of him. I just did what I thought was right for me. Me personally, I've lived a long time on this spinning orb and been a bit of an athlete in my time. So I can listen to me body, normally in the middle of the night after I've had beans. But I do listen to me body. And the propaganda was injected so deep. There's a friend on Facebook that I literally got into, come round my place, I'll shove your teeth so far down your throat, you'll have to shove your food up your ass to eat it. We got to that, like almost, I won't say daggers drawn, that's just metaphorical. Because I was of the mind that I was watching propaganda being promulgated by everyone. And I don't blame people because it was really, really complex. It was very clever. Bill Gates has made billions on the back of it. Anthony Fauci. Well, the real Anthony Fauci, please stand up, please stand up, please stand up. Stop contradicting yourself, you're wrong. Oh, you are standing up, sorry. So doing your own research and reading about anything important 4 years ago, we put all of our trust seemingly into the politicians. And what were the politicians doing? Including liar Starmer was having beers. Now, there's pictures of him having a beer. Is that called a party? Or is that called work do? Or is that called, I'm just having, it was tough, man, Adrian. It was tough. You know, we're under a lot of pressure. Rich boy Sunak had to come out and go, yeah, I had a couple of beers once, maybe, thing. I don't drink. I don't. No, I'm a Hindu. Don't drink. But I was at a party, so I apologise. And Starmer, no. But we're trying to find information out. We want to, like, next slide. So we were looking to all the medical professionals. Next slide. And we were trying to find out what was up, what was down. Next slide. And Vixtex, Bill Gates, zero moral compass. Agreed, Vixtex. In the field, it was called Curry Night, Adrian. I'm sure. Bend over and I'll show you where me ladle is. Paul Morton, the police said not to see here with Starmer. Why? Well, do you notice how they were fining people? Remember, there's some singer type thing called Rita Ora. She proper pissed me off. Her 30th birthday party. We're all locked down. We've been locked down for months. We're losing our mojo. We don't know what's up, what's down. We're looking to our political leaders to help us and to guide us and to get us out of this seemingly deathly virus campaign. And she hires a restaurant for her 30th birthday. Here, Foxtrot Oscar, you dippy mare. Don't be all over the... I know your husband's rich, and I know he can buy advertising. Well, it's called PR, but it's advertising all the same. Buy all this stuff where, doesn't Rita Ora look lovely in that skimpy swimsuit? No, she doesn't, because where I come from, there's a lot of good-looking nouts. They look good in a swimsuit, but their hearts are rotten. Their insides are black because they're egocentric sociopaths, and all they want to do is just do what they want to do and stuff everybody else. That's Rita Ora right there. Her 30th birthday party, and what did she do when she got found out? She fecked off to Australia for a couple of years to get out of the public profile, the public eye rather. And now she's come back and, I've got a new album coming out. Foxtrot Oscar. Egocentric sociopaths, the lot of them. How very dare she? And she's got the temerity, the impudence, as they say in Sunderland, to come out into the public profile again as if nothing's happened. Oh, man, fuck off. I knew she was going to wind me up when I said that. I just knew it. Anyway. So reading and doing your own research, you were laughed at, you were teased. It was seen as wrong and shameful. Just do as you're told, take the jibber jabber. It's the right thing to do, because if you don't, the un-jibber jabbered are going to kill everybody. Remember that? Or they're going to transmit it and they're going to kill everybody. So how many of the un-jibber jabbered carked it? Shuffled off this mortal coil? Are no more. Turns out it's the people that took the jibber jabber. And there was that politician in Parliament that said to somebody, I think it was Andrew Bridgen, have you been jibber jabbered? Why? Oh, you'd be dead within 5 years. Didn't want to bring that here, but that's a fact. Parliament MP said in the House of Parliament to Andrew Bridgen, yeah, everybody that's taken the jibber jabber is going to be dead within 5 years. And we're trying to get all of this information that we're not allowed to get. Chris says, I'm 41. I was perfectly healthy until a few months ago. Neurological symptoms which 3 neurologists can't agree on. I'm genuinely starting to think it can be attributed, at least partly, to the jibber jabber. I'm sorry to hear that, Chris. 41, prime of your life, mate. And as I say, there's no judgment here, because everybody was trying to do the right thing. We were looking to certain people to lead us, not manage us, lead us. Not to take backhanders from Big Pharma, not to supply the mainstream media with advertising that cost hundreds of thousands of pounds. The last set of accounts for the Sun newspaper, they were 50 million in debt. 50 million in debt. So we're all trying to do the right thing. We're looking to our supposed leaders, and they're all trying to stab each other in the back, because that's what politics is all about. Rich boy, oi, 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 oi. I told you about the death match between him and Johnson. Won't go there tonight. But I told you, we were all trying to do the right thing. Now, I'll kind of give you a modern day equivalent. We're 4 years down the line, a modern day equivalent. So say you were going to buy an electric vehicle. So what would you do? You'd get informed, wouldn't you? So these idiots that were trying to get us to take the jibber jabber, are they going to shame us to not look into what we want from an electric vehicle? I mean, how would I know which car to buy? Ask the salesman, because he's the expert. I mean, somebody, when I was talking to them about this, well, they said, who do you think you are? Henry Ford? Freemason. Vix Text, brought to you by Pfizer. I know. So the point of me saying that is, just remember how certain individuals, not on behalf of the government, they were just spouting off their gob, were saying, it's got to be this, it's got to be this. And what, you're doing reading? No, don't do that. Just do as you're told. We will get to Starmer in a moment, because he's still saying, do as I'm telling you, not as I do. And this is how dangerous life is in 2024. You know, on Tuesday, we had the Kamala Harris and Donald Trump debate. the mass debate on ABC. Turns out that there was a whistleblower. Now, if you go to my X feed, it's all on there. I've put all the information about what she did. So she was wearing an earpiece. Some people say, "Oh, Adrian," I think it was Terry Wookford said that her hair was kind of lacquered into place like a helmet, so you couldn't see what was going into her right ear. But you can see in her left ear, there's a bit of gubbins in there. Now, whether that was both of them needed that earpiece to hear what the presenters, adjudicators, were saying in the mass debate, I don't know. Yeah, exactly, Ray Norton. Nice earrings, Kamala. Were you given those? What'd you have to do for them? Hole in the back of your neck. Andy Turner said, the police were out of order, tried to find me. They tried to find where I lived. I was walking my dog, was trying to look at my dog's tag, and said, he ain't got a tag on. So, Foxtrot Oscar. And they walked away. Now, I kind of get that the cops were trying to do their job because they were instructed either by their sergeant or their inspector or the superintendent or the office jockeys who sit at the top. Let me tell you how policing works. So if it's a bank holiday, the office jockeys get triple time. Nice. Because the office jockeys, the money they're on, if you get triple time, it's thousands. So that's why you get all of the high Hegians coming out on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day to see all the troops. Oh, how are you? Oh, yes. Because just by making an appearance, because it's one part of the day and it's New Year's Day, which is a bank holiday, they get triple time. Any serving police officer, tell me I'm wrong. I dare you. The office jockeys at the top. I mean, I know of a police officer, superintendent in Edinburgh, and he had this whole campaign around massage parlours in Edinburgh, and all of his officers were casing the whole place and were observing it for intelligence. And have a guess who turned up at this particular massage parlour in his police car, obviously plain clothes, but still hired for his benefit. The superintendent that was heading up the whole the whole thing. He was going in for a happy finish. I mean, how stupid do you have to be? All of your best are monitoring this massage parlour, unless he had a death wish, of course, and unless he wanted a divorce from his wife, and just, he was just going to commit career Harry Carey. He went in for a happy finish. So all of his officers were laughing their caps off excuse me, sir, really? You knew we were observing and monitoring and we're going to raid it, and you came here. Alan said, made me laugh how all the supermarkets employed stormtroopers to boss us around Morrison's and stuff, like the Gestapo in his IVs. Yeah. Katie Webster, very good. The superintendent was doing his civic duty, delivering the Battenberg. Very good. Kevin Rowlands, remember the NHS TikTok routines? Yeah, they were so busy, they were all making up dance routines. I am going to talk about the NHS in just a little while. Andrew James said, Waitrose was just the same. It was 2 in, 2 out. I've been at those parties before. Chuck your key rings in the middle before you start. So it kind of follows on. Let's get to Kamala Harris and Tuesday's debate. Obviously, Trump didn't do so well. He wasn't as good as he was against Hillary. And you could tell that her word salad had disappeared, that she was delivering a very smooth response to all of the questions. So, in my view, knowing what I know about the media, she must have either been being fed in her ear, and all presidents are. When you see, that's why George Bush, he gets that glazed look across his eyes when he was president, because he was being fed information into his ear. That's why Joe Biden, you never know what was coming out of his mouth, but he was being fed in his ear by others that were supposedly looking after him. And so Kamala, I believe, was fed part answers. She will have been trained to within an inch of her life to get a good showing and a good polling. And an ABC whistleblower said she got the questions ahead of time, which is unacceptable, because surely both nominees are supposed to get the questions at exactly the same time. According to this ABC whistleblower, Kamala Harris had the questions ahead of time. Okay, why are you mentioning that, Adrian? Because the ABC whistleblower that claimed Kamala Harris was given debate questions ahead of the debate has died in a car crash. I'm going to leave that with you. The whistleblower that came out and said Kamala Harris got the questions ahead of the debate has died in a car crash, according to news reports. I mean, what's the betting of that? Coincidence? Synchronicity? I mean, I don't know about you. Sometimes I look at things and go, what's real? What's AI? What's going on? But Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's a supporter of Trump, broke the news on X. So the whistleblower that told the truth and told the truth about Kamala, I mean, her handlers, Manchurian candidate on behalf of a foreign power or a deep state power, they've come out and said, yeah, she was given the questions ahead of the debate. I mean, it blows the whole thing up. It could ruin her candidacy. They've died. The whistleblowers died in a car crash. You can't make that up. I mean, that's proper scary. So if you are going to affect the result that they want, you could wind up in your box. And they've already tried an assassination on Trump once, and seemingly gunshots in his vicinity tonight. According to Hayden, it was Palm Beach Golf Club. These powers don't mess around. If they want you gone, Princess Diana, you're gone. Can't have a Muslim half-brother or sister to a future king of England. Diana was pregnant with Dodi's child. Trump is going to become president unless they assassinate him, or unless the nuclear bombs start going off before November. Remember the big black swan? It's still coming. I told you and predicted this December last year, because if they think that they're going to lose and they're going to rig the election, if they think they're going to lose, there's the Hannibal Directive in Israel. Google it. Hannibal Directive. There's the Solomon. Oh, I can't remember what that is. What's the So the Hannibal Directive and the Solomon Protocol. The Solomon Protocol. Nuclear. Just go nuclear. Live shots fired at Donald Trump golf course while ex-president was there. So the ABC whistleblower is no more. They're not going to be happy if they can't arrange and rig this coming presidential election. Look, and I'll offer you, it's still 50, 60 years since JFK was shot, and they still haven't gotten to the bottom of that. CIA operatives from the drains, right in front of the car. Woody Harrelson's dad admitted to it. And yet, even though certain people have, Nicholas, you, Mike Elliott and Flash and Blade asked and questioned too much. Yeah, I get it, Nicholas. But you can only be guided by the truth. That's all. And so, in light of what I've already talked about, the way that we've been, thank you, Stuart, in light of how we were coerced and controlled in 2020, 6 weeks. My hairy backside, we're going to lock you down for 6 weeks. I mean, people started doing baking courses online, which was wonderful. People thought like jigsaws. like Wasgid's jigsaws. I don't know where we got any fans in the body of the Kirk this evening. Everybody was buying up jigsaws because they would take up hours. People were reading, people were doing stuff thinking, it's only going to take 6 weeks. 2 years later, we're all still in bloody lockdown. And eventually it just petered out because people were like, oh, I'm not taking this again. I've had enough of this. And the politicians couldn't do anything. They changed the law. Lauren Taylor, what the actual we are done for. My granddads, both born in 1890, fought World War One. My dad and uncles in World War Two. They must be turning in their graves. I agree, Lauren. I agree. But you have to understand, this is about huge amounts of money. America is so far in debt, they're never going to trade their way out of it. What is it? Something like $75 trillion they're in debt. They're never going to trade their way out of that. And they'll say, oh, well, taxes will help. But if they go to war, as America found this out, World War One, you can make more money if you loan money to people who will buy your bombs and stuff. So now they've got the deep state, because that's all the deep state is. It's a military-industrial complex. And 60% of America's GDP, gross domestic product, is arms or armaments related. That's why I've been removed from radio stations, because I was telling the truth. 60%. So when America goes, or the world goes to war, World War One, the Great War, or World War Two, and remember, after the Great War and World War One, they said, the world can never have this happen again. And then it did, World War Two, and America made even more money, so that the British, me and you, the taxpayers, were still paying off our World War Two debt till nearly the year 2000, I'm sure. Was it 99 or 2000? But it took us 50 years to pay the debt off. I mean, America must be rubbing its hands with Russia and Ukraine. So the only bit of advice, 2006, thank you, Fred. I knew it was round about the noughties. The only advice that I will give you, and I've asked you if you could, to sort of spread the word about this channel, because I do it for next to nothing, but I do it to make it right and proper that the truth be known. But the truth be known in an informed way to give you understanding of how this happens and that happens, and not necessarily to join the dots. That, if I may be so bold, is down to you. But I can give you insights into things because I've been doing this for 40 odd years. I've been reading the newspapers, all of them, every day for 40 odd years. I've been speaking the truth, albeit on the radio, until 2 years ago when I started this channel. Just telling the truth. Because a bit like that ABC whistleblower, I'd rather be carried out on my shield, knowing that I still maintain my integrity and my name will always have truth associated to it for eternity. Because I'm merely an eternal being having a human experience. Or, as I keep repeating, I am a fractal of the ineffable experiencing itself as consciousness. So all I ask you is be careful who you follow. Because there are dark agents on all the social medias, including X, but there are dark medias and governments, 77th Brigade, just put stuff out there. There are people deliberately leading you astray because if you read it, if it's typed up there, it looks convincing. Please tell your family and friends, because I do have the answers, because I'm following that path myself. So if there's an electromagnetic pulse, EMP, and Klaus Schwab, who's also a Rothschild, just the family changed the name a few generations ago, Klaus Schwab says there's an EMP coming. They've got to blame it on the sun or something. But an electromagnetic pulse is going to happen. This is not ifs and buts or maybes. This is going to happen. It's going to take all of your electronica out. All of it. Your phone, your computer, possibly the electrics in your home. It's going to take everything out. So what would you need? What can't they take out? Books. If you want educating, books. And I know that's really old-fashioned, and we don't have our kids now reading books ever. Not comics, not books, not newspapers. It's all in their phone. You take that away from them, it's like they've lost their left arm. And what else am I doing? I'm making sure that I have the skills to be able to grow my own food. That's why I got the allotment. Now, you can laugh at me, but you'll laugh at me for so long. I want to have the skills to grow, plant and grow my own food. Why would I do that? Because you saw the shite we were in. We couldn't even buy bog roll at one point. They were having to ration it. So all these idiots, when you have an EMP, and Schwab has told you that that is going to happen. Who said that? Amalia. We need an off-grid commune. I agree with you, Amalia, but how are we going to do that? Carry a pigeon? And we can't necessarily just meet in the local WI or the local village hall, because that's how they used to do it. Can't even meet in the local pub because they're trying to kill all those off. Shortwave radio. Yes, Alan. I mean, it sounds like I've gone a bit prepper mad, like the Americans. But if you have any green stuff at the back of your house and you're not planting it out with food, and it doesn't matter what it is, they call potatoes the peasants' food. But look, I'm thinking about doing an allotment channel to run side by side with this, because these skills from the First World War and the Second World War, my mum and dad were self-sufficient. My granddad, he knocked 9 kids out of my grandmother and he had to feed them. Now, so he was just brilliant at growing his own stuff. Had a lovely greenhouse, 2 greenhouses, massive big garden, grew all of his stuff. They were self-sufficient. And remember the TV series, The Good Life? Now, Vix text, I agree with you. Now better than a bit of mash. But, Stuart, have you seen the price of pints now? I daren't, Stuart. I mean, I know in London, I went into some place in King's Cross when I came down to go and visit something. I think it might have been a museum. It's like nearly a tenner a pint. Jesus. I mean, even £5 a pint. I'll choke on that. But as Des Ashton says, dig for victory. Now, I know they used that in the Second World War. Alan, oh no, EMP will knock out Sado Khan's ULEZ cameras. Well, there's always a bright side. Always look on the bright side of life, Alan. Amalia Grassi had hot buttery mash with thick gravy and cabbage tonight. Oh, you'll upset us all, Amalia. We'll have plate envy. And in the field, brilliant. So I don't mean this to sound harsh, but nobody's going to save you. I love this community on a Sunday night. But look, if an EMP never happens and a Black Swan event never happens and I don't need to feed myself, at least it's been a luxury and I've learned skills. But can you imagine if what I'm saying now, in 3 months' time, an EMP hits Europe, takes the whole of Europe out? Not America, obviously, because they never have it on their own doorstep. And it's not a case of just doing something just in case. A bit like the MP inquiry the other day, where they were grilling somebody, and he said, oh, yeah, we've booked out 5,000 hotel rooms just in case. Just in case. That's because they're spunking your money up their walls. Kate Webster says, totally excellent idea, Adrian. We need to know how to grow and source our food. Many acres of farmland being bought for solar panel farms. I agree with you, Kate. And you've got BlackRock owning 47% of all the land in Ukraine. Why would they do that? It's the breadbasket of Europe. So if you control Ukraine, you control the food source. Now, remember, you're going to eat crickets. They're saying they can create lab-grown chicken meat. I mean, we know some of us have great doubts about some of the food that we can buy in our shops, whether it's real or not. But I think as a community, because I will say this. I know that most people will dismiss it because it's work, so they'll dismiss it. But when the shit hits the fan, even in the slightest way, people are going to go, oh! I mean, the channel wasn't there, so I didn't think of bog rolls being the one thing that you needed 4 years ago, until they all started crashing the supermarkets and buying up all the bog rolls. Des Ashton says, never mind the EMP, remember the 3-day week and power cuts of the 1970s? Ah, the cycle of life. And that was a bloody Labour government as well, Des. I remember the 3-day week and the power cuts of the 70s. Obviously, I was only 2-year-old at the time. Amalia, that made me smile, thank you. Peter Sadler, better to have something and not need it, and needing something and not having it. No truer word said, Peter. So because we are going to go into something else, I want to go into Starmer, because he's not going to get out of this lightly. But before I get to that, I want to say that nobody's going to come to save you. This is not the movies. This is not Batman or Superman. There's no superheroes with capes. Nobody's going to come to save you. You can save yourself. But so long as you've got the support. Now, that's why they've done away with the family unit, the nuclear unit, mother, father, maybe 2 kids, 3 kids, however many kids, unless you're Elon Musk and you've got a football team as kids. What's he got, about 25 kids now? I mean, so both my mum and dad were one of 9. So both pairs of grandparents had 18 kids between them. They didn't have bloody telly. And they must have worn out their bed mattresses every 3 weeks. But 9 kids on one side, 9 kids on the other. I mean, if you take sort of my generation and the next generation of the family below, there's nearly 200 of us. We must be the biggest family in Sunderland. But nobody is going to save you. And I'm saying that in all seriousness. The only thing that will win this war is non-compliance. You've seen all the war movies with the heroes and the hope and people doing what they had to do, the French resistance in World War II, and the intelligence services and the people on the streets who we look after each other. That's virtually evaporated and gone, because everybody now is being conditioned to look after themselves. It's only about you, nobody else. Egocentric sociopaths. I mentioned that earlier about Rita Ora. So that's how you're being programmed, to be an egocentric sociopath, not give a care about or give a stuff about anybody else. It's only non-compliance that's going to win this war. The war is coming, and I'm not trying to scaremonger you. You'll notice, and I've said this about be careful who you follow, because there's lots and lots and lots of people that are just doing it for clicks and likes. And I, if I wanted, could go so deep into this from what I know, I would get chucked off this platform without batting an eyelid. Now, because we're going to get on to Starmer, I am going to give you the answer. So please stay with me for 10 minutes or so, because I am going to give you the answer. And once you have the answer, whether you've forgotten it or not, because I have told you before, I'm going to tell you again. So then once you know the game, you know the outcome. As David Icke says, if you know the outcome, you know the route we're going to get to the outcome. So I'm going to give you that tonight on this live. So let me give you my take on where I think we are politically. I don't say this with any gladness. I don't say this with any heart. But the political process, politics, is dead. It's dead. It's over. Because we have a man, after 14 years of a political party's rule, a man that stands there and gets into power on the back of us not wanting the previous lot. Not we want him and his party because they're doing really good things, but because we wanted rid of the last lot, the corrupt last lot. I mean, James Not So Cleverly's been on the telly today. Mate, give it up, man. Give it up. The Tories, they're never getting back into power. Ever. You had Thatcher turn it around in the 70s. There's nobody within the Tory party now that can hold a light to that woman or some of the big political characters of yore. Now, I'm not talking about the David Camerons. I'm not talking about the Boris Johnsons. They are just a particular political class who are making shed loads of money on the back of, I've got mates. But politics is dead. It's finished. Mark my words. Now, I will say this again. If I was psychic, I'd be winning the bloody lottery every weekend and I wouldn't be doing these lives. Although I do love them bits, I probably would still continue. But the Tories are done. Finished. Over. Mark my words. Labour, they're lucky to get one term. So Starmer, the harmer, is saying, it's going to take us maybe 10, 15, 20 years to turn the NHS around. They're bribing you. That's corrupt. That's bribery. That's, well, if you vote Labour, then we'll sort out the NHS. No, you bloody won't, because the NHS is so broken, they're going to have to bring in the American model and you will only get free NHS treatment at A&E. Everything else will be bought and paid for by your health insurance. Ed Davey. Honestly, my Tourette's are going to start kicking in again. This idiot of a man who couldn't sort out the post office, knew all about it, Mr. Bates versus the post office. Do you know that during the week that somebody stood up and says the postmasters or officers or whatever still haven't been paid? This was January when it aired. All these political, oh my God, the hand-wringing, oh, really sorry. And then we get Paula Venables, well, I'm a woman of the cloth now, you can't do anything, I'm next to God. No, you're not. You're the problem, not the solution. And don't get God to say that he's the solution, because it's not. There's no such thing as an old boy with a beard, wings and a halo and a harp, sitting in a cloud playing some nice tunes. Utter bunkum. That's bullshit, man, from the Catholic Church. You know, the kiddie fiddling nonsense in the Catholic Church. There's the Pope, chief paedophile. I've been telling that for 30 years on radio. Catholic Church. Ask them how bloody Hitler got out of Germany. Or you believe that the body was him and Eva Braun in the bunker. Grey Wolf. Read the book Grey Wolf. Because I'm telling you, the Catholic Church got the Nazis out of Germany and got them into South America. That's the Catholic Church for you. Fuck off. They're evil. It's all about power. The Catholic Church got the Nazis out of Germany via Italy into South America. Do your own research, because you know I don't tell lies. So there's on me Ed Davey, riding into conference on a bloody jet ski. What, is he mad? Who does he think he is, James Bond? Shaken, not stirred. It's the entertainment arm of the military-industrial complex, I'm telling you. In the field. It's all in the Vatican cellars, Adrian. I know. That's where the bodies are buried, in the field. Alan, Boys from Brazil. Gregory Peck. Great movie. Ray Norton. I think we're going through exposure phase to wake up the masses. Well, they do say that the event has to be big enough to shake everybody awake. And I don't think we're going through anything bigger than this. I mean, yes, of course, we've had 2 World Wars and 1 World Cup, but we're still having to be woken up because everybody was just in their malaise, in their fatigue, in their just doing stuff and not even living life, just kind of existing. Grey Wolf, The Escape of Adolf Hitler, hardcover, Decky Edge, October 2011 by Simon Dunstan. Yeah, I've read it, Aidan. I've read it. And in fact, who did was it the History Channel? Did a TV series all about Hitler's escape from Germany into South America. And the South Americans don't like talking about it. They don't. But it was an excellent series. They just took it kind of Janet and John, the whole thing. The Catholic Church, well, they didn't really touch on the Catholic Church, but they kind of hinted at it. But There was stuff in South America and Bolivia and all over the place where the Nazis were going to rise up again as the Third Reich, which and Third Reich just means third way. It was on the History Channel. I'm not sure, and one of the Special Forces guys who was in the series actually went on to fight MMA in the UFC. Tough boy, tough boy. And in this series, even he said, this is a little worrying. I'm a bit nervous about this. Hard as nails. Special Forces fought in the UFC, MMA against the best. And he said, this is making me a little nervous. It's why they burned the bodies, because they used body doubles. I know, Peter. I know. And seemingly, the Hitler's body in the bunker was like some woman. The hips were too wide. It was like a woman. Amalia Grassy Rumble as an alternative to YouTube. I have tried it, Amalia. I tried putting stuff up there, and there's so much noise. Unless you have an audience, as I do here, then they're not really going to come searching for you. But we have plans in place. Kerry Hawkins, Jackie, it causes such problems, religion, doesn't it? Yeah, it's the biggest scam ever foisted on humankind in the history of humankind, religion. Because I've said to you before, Galatians in the New Testament. Now, the New Testament is sort of the Vatican's church's version, set with the Talmud, which is Judaism. And in the New Testament, the Catholic Church, and remember that the Catholic Church, William Tyndale translated the current version of the Bible from Aramaic, Greek and Latin into English, from a ploughboy to a king. And he was burned at the stake for heresy. It was only when King James came along and King James said 75% of the Old Testament, 75% of the New Testament, which is the bit that the Catholics have, and 85% of the Old Testament is the King James Bible that was translated by William Tyndale. They wanted rid of Tyndale in case he started saying stuff that affected their power base, the Catholic Church's power base. From a ploughboy to a king. So in the New Testament, there is a book called Galatians. If you've got a copy of the Bible, and I do, read it. Galatians. I'm sure it's chapter 4, verses 18 to 22. I may be wrong on that because I'm kind of dragging this out of my head from 40 years ago. In Galatians, it says that Abraham and Ishmael weren't real. They're just allegory. They're just stories, made up stories. So what does that mean? It means that if Abraham didn't exist, neither do the Abrahamic religions, and they are Judaism and Islam. They have no foundation. Abraham didn't exist. Now, can you imagine the consternation that would cause if there was anybody else with the kahunas to actually say that in the public arena? Galatians, it's in the good book. It's in the Bible. Abraham and Ishmael didn't exist. And neither does Islam and Judaism. Honestly, I can feel the crosshairs being pointed at me as I speak. Now, I don't say this to mess or meddle with anyone's beliefs or anyone's emotions. I'm saying to you that the victors write history. And whether it's in the good book or not, we don't need to go to the book of Revelations in the New Testament. Just go to Galatians. That will tell you everything that you need to know. That the people that have written history have lied. And people might go, oh, Jesus, Adrian, well, God botherer? No. But if you just take things so that the Catholic Church, they love shagging your kids. Second World War, they're getting the Nazis, the bad people, the people that we were fighting against, fascism and Nazis, they got them out of Germany into South America, where they saw their days out. And that's not discussed. Well, of course it wouldn't be. It's all covered up. So that you're just given stuff that, oh, that's difficult to believe that, Adrian. Lauren Taylor. So basically, it's religion that's the problem. It's not even religion, Lauren, because they don't exist. They don't. I mean, I have said to you many times on these lives, Netanyahu's the most evil man on the planet. Because he's only there as Prime Minister of Israel, as a war Prime Minister, because he can't be unseated while they're at war. Look at the Hannibal Directive. Google it. And look at the Solomon Protocol. So I want to get to... I just want you... So the Tories are done, finished, gone. Unless the political classes pull strings. They're done. They're finished. Labour are going to get one term because no one will last 5 years with the amount of lies, subterfuge and corruption in this Labour government. Keir Starmer's only been Prime Minister, 2 months? Corrupt as corrupt can be. And I'm going to give you the details. So you can quote this and any of your mates go, oh, Labour Party, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. No, you can shove the Labour Party where the sun don't shine, including Sir Keir Starmer, Starmer the Harmer, Starmageddon and two-tier Keir, because he's no different from the Tories that were in for 14 years. I've told you, you can use the analogy, different cheek, same arse. You can use the analogy, different wings, same bird. However you want to couch it or promulgate a particular narrative, they're all the same. They're all in it for themselves. They don't care about you. Just keep paying your taxes and your national insurance. Look, the only thing left now is a new party. Ooh, Adrian, what are you saying? The only thing on the political horizon is a party led by reform and amalgamated with the ashes of the Tories. So centrist right. That's all that's left. There is nothing left. Labour, done. The Workers' Party, had a way in shite, man. The Lib Dems, dear God, they're going to legalise weed. And the Tories, they're done. They're all corrupt. They're done. They've got nobody within them that's a leader. They're all managers. So you've got nothing left. So in 4 to 5 years, when the Labour Party, if they last that long, let's go to the country. That's why they're attacking Farage. That's why they're attacking reform. 4 million votes down the line. Alan says, I don't want the Tories to join reform. I think the Tory party's done. It's finished. But whatever is left, the ashes, there may be a phoenix that rises. Now, look. I will say this to you now. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So you know this 22 billion black hole that Rachel Reeves and Sir Keir Starmer mentioned? Ginger Growler, wonder where she's gone. Or I wonder why she's staying silent in the background in the shadows. Is she a ninja? Is she a shadow warrior? Shinobi? Is she just sitting there to assassinate Starmer? Is he coming? Well, ask yourself the question. Why did they protect her over how many houses she had? Or didn't? Or could have? The neighbours were all at it. Oh, yeah, she's never been there in a month of Sundays. Why did they protect Angela Rayner? I keep telling you, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, all the Labour strongholds, the left-wing strongholds. Jacinda Ardern. Got a runny nose. Was she on the sniff? Looked like it. You've got Kamala Harris. I bet you there's no cooking sherry left in her house. I'll guarantee you. Just listen to the way she speaks. So I'm going to give this to you. The 22 billion black hole that Sir Keir Starmer had to come out and defend. Rachel Reeves went, yeah, we found 22 million black hole. And everybody went, bloody corrupt Tories. So what they do is they get you to look over there. Yeah, look at those Tories over there, all those corrupt Tories. They haven't got the 30 million back from Michelle Mone yet, have they? Well, of course not. What about Michael Gove and his VIP mates? Yeah, police are giving updates on the shooting in Donald Trump's vicinity at his Florida golf course. So Rachel Reeves comes out, 22 billion black hole, mate. And Keir Starmer goes, 22 billion black hole, mate. And then Laura Kunsberg says, and she's not one of my favourite political commentators, this 22 billion black hole, Sakia. 9 billion of that is by your government giving out wage rises of 22%, 25% of the junior doctors, to the train drivers and to anybody else that you had to buy off once you got into power. 9 billion of the 22 billion is from the Labour Party buying off their union paymasters. Didn't tell you that, did they? Just Sakia standing up. That's why PMQs, he wouldn't say anything. So I keep saying to you, let's all laugh at Keir Starmer. He's a muppet. He's a clown. He thinks he's more important than he actually is. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. His gurus, his PR gurus, are now saying to him, smile a bit, Sakia. You're coming across as serious, man. It's the glasses. Just smile a bit. Well, no, evil doesn't smile. Unless you're Ian Brady. Evil is as evil does. And he's trying to smile. Some of the pictures that have come out of the last couple of days, all the reporters on some flight. Now, remember, he doesn't travel commercial. Because I don't know whether he's got an Air Force One or Air Force Two or just RAF Air Force. He was flying with all these journalists on a flight and no public. Smiling, click. Oh, honestly, it makes me face ache. Do I have to do more of this smiling? Yes, smile. Go on and go out for breakfast. Sausage roll. Oh, can't I have bacon? No, you can't. Your wife and kids are Jewish. Let's all laugh at him. Because he's a fool. He's got Ginger Growler in the background that's stabbing him in the back. Did they have an affair? Just asking for a friend who said to me the other day, you know who had an affair, don't you? So remember, this is the same man that talked about honesty, integrity, newer, cleaner politics, and his dad was a toolmaker. Remember the 9 billion wage rise that contributed to the 22 billion. For the public sector, which would have been train drivers, junior doctors, the uncivil servants. And do you know how I know that Labour and the Starmers are corrupt hypocrites? Really easy. The Starmers are multimillionaires. Now, he's obviously made a few bob from being a barrister, a tool, because his dad was a toolmaker. Head of the CPS, no less, keeps reminding us that he was head of the CPS. He was a barrister. Sir, you only get that if the political elites love you. Thanks for looking after us. How would he have done that? Jimmy Savile's file went across his desk at the CPS, went into file 13, the bin. No, NFA, no further action. Jimmy Savile, the most prolific paedophile that we know until now in this country. And he went, oh, nothing to answer. That's Sir Keir Starmer. And do you know that he's taken money? The Starmers are multimillionaires and they have accepted money to buy their clothes that they are wearing, that he is wearing today. The glasses are £2,000. 20 grand at least on buying some new suits. And David Lammy, that other clown, he didn't make me laugh. He must be a shit clown then. Because they wanted to look good for the British people. Hardaway shite, man. You know what that means, don't you? They want to look good for the British people so that they are willing to accept tens of thousands of pounds to go towards their wardrobe and 300 quid for the pensioners for the winter fuel payments they can go and swivel for. This is how corrupt politics is. Multi-millionaire Sir Keir Starmer and his wife. Multi-millionaire. taking tens of thousands of pounds, accepting money to buy clothes to look good for the British people? You know what I'm going to say, don't you? In the words of that great Chinese philosopher, you can foxtrot Oscar. So just let me ask you this question. Why can't Tuti Akia and his missus, if she wants to live off him, why can't they afford to buy their own clothes on 167 grand a year? That's what he gets paid as Prime Minister, 167. Now, if you try and Google how much does a Prime Minister get paid, for some bizarre reason, it doesn't actually come up. It gives you 2022, but not 2024. £167,000 a year. How can he not buy a couple of suits and a pair of glasses from Specsavers like everybody else? He can go to Jermaine Street in London. It's kind of where everybody goes for suits. I've been told that they've accepted £75,000 to clothe his wife, but they're cutting the winter fuel payments, him and his wife, 75 grand, just to clothe them. We're on the world stage. We have to impress other politicians, other world leaders. We have to stand shoulder to shoulder with the world's best. German Street, that's how you pronounce it. I know, Fred. So I'm going to ask you a question. I'm being facetious because I already know the answer. So why didn't Mr. Rules, Sir Keir Starmer, declare this money? Because he hasn't. So he gets this money from Lord Ali, so Lord Ali can wander around 10 Downing Street because he gets a free pass if you give them enough money. He's buying access to number 10 Downing Street. How does that work then? If I've got enough money, if I have, say, a plumbing business and I want to look like Rod Stewart and get my teeth from Turkey, that's the country Turkey, not the bird Turkey, I'll just cough 100 grand. Give me me pass. Will I meet Mandy Mandelson and will I meet Tony Blair, Charles Linton, Bow Street Magistrates? So the Starmers have got a sugar daddy. And I don't mean sugar, not Alan Sugar, not Lord Sugar, not sugar, sugar daddy. How much do you want? Here. 20 grand? 20 grand for you, 20 grand for the missus? What do I get access to? All at 10 Downing Street, can I use the bogs in 10 Downing Street, just in case I'm caught short when I'm in London? And you could get Charlie Mullen eyebrows along with the turkey teeth. I know, Stuart. Oh. I mean, who was it that would have said to Charlie Mullins, yeah, them eyebrows need doing? Do you want them tattooed on? Mind you, he's probably just been to Turkey for 3 months, got brand new hair. What they do, take plugs out your arse and stick it on your head. Can you imagine? Charlie Mullins. Looks like your arse, Charlie. And then turkey teeth and turkey eyebrows. How funny is that? I laughed. GB Patriot, Adrian, Google Starmer pension law. He pays less tax on his pension than anybody else. Oh, he's corrupt, man. He's corrupt. Accepting money. And they have very defined rules in Parliament now. Because remember the expenses debacle? They have very defined rules. And he's not playing to them. So, Sugar Daddy, Lord Ali, gave Starmer clothing allowance for a free pass to 10 Downing Street. You can buy yourself into anywhere. Lord Ali, how much did he pay Starmer in total? I want to know. The Starmer family, I want to know. So the Labour Party isn't any different from the Tory Party, isn't any different from the Lib Dems. But I'm going to say this to you. Who's attacking him from the inside? How has this come out? Now, I'll ask you this question. Do you think that they've put people around Sir Keir Starmer as bad advisors, so he's going to look bad, so he'll step down? He won't take the pressure, the heat. Now that his wife's involved, they're after her as well. They'll be after the kids next. I mean, how much heat can this man stand? While somebody evidently is in the background just waiting to step into, oh, hello, can we change the curtains in 10 Downing Street, please? I like wearing green and pink when I do PMQs. I mean, who dresses Ginger Growler? Stevie Wonder. She's there with pink and green on the other day. I mean, I had to put my shades on thinking, my eyes, I'm never going to be able to see again. And somebody thinks that's stylish. Hello, ain't shy, man. So I believe there's somebody attacking him from the inside of the Labour Party. Somewhere left of where he is. Now, look, he loves WEF, he loves Davos, but I'm telling you this, WEF doesn't operate like that. The World Economic Forum, they've got every conceivable outcome covered politically in every single country around the world. So Starmer might have been to WEF. Has Ginger Growler? I know the answer. A journalist always knows the answer to the question they're asking before they ask it. So you can look at Starmer now, laugh at him, because he's a fool, in my view. It's don't do as I do as I tell you to do. So he's taking all the cash. Oh, lovely, thanks very much. Oh, lovely suit. Yeah, got it, German Street. And the missus getting all those new dresses. Lovely. These are multi-millionaires. They've got the money to buy the clothes if they want to. So, but, you know, that's how the rich work. Don't spend their own money, spend somebody else's. But somebody else's money comes with conditions attached. Like, can I have a front door key? Number 10. And look, if Sir Keir Starmer can't afford to buy his own clothes, it's a miracle the rest of us are not all walking around naked. Look, if you're attempting to defend the Trotskyite Starmer freezing your nan to death and raising our household bills as necessary and a tough decision, how tough was it to take the cash to buy new suits and glasses and buy dresses for your missus? How difficult a decision was that to take, Sir Keir and Rachel Reeves? I'm the Chancellor, me. You're all corrupt. A bunch of multimillionaires telling you that another bunch of multimillionaires are the reason why you are impoverished. Alan, 10% increase on energy next month. So why can't Sir Keir Starmer afford his own clothes on nearly 170 grand a year? I'd say that if you're defending this clown, you must have your head shoved so far up your backside, you're never going to be able to eat a warm meal again. If Sir Keir Starmer has broken parliamentary rules, be gone. Be gone. We are not having somebody stand on the steps of 10 Downing Street telling us, oh, it's going to be honesty and integrity and a new, cleaner politics, and then you're just bullshitting us? Off you go. He should resign immediately. Unless he's bought Sleepy Joe and ice cream, of course. So my advice to you, let's all laugh at the impoverished multi-millionaire Starmers. I think we'll leave it there. I will do more tomorrow. Some of the stuff can wait a couple of days. I was going to tell you about Son of Concord. You know that there's something called Overture. There's going to be Son of Concord happening. It's had its second test flight. They're reckoning London to New York in 3.5 hours, only going to cost £4,000 return compared to, I mean, if you look at the cost of flying Concorde with inflation from back in the 70s, what it was worth to today, it's the equivalent of 20 grand. So they've had the second test flight in August. It's all systems go. More to come. It's called XB1, Son of Concord. Just putting it on your radar before anybody else. But I think we'll leave it there for tonight. I know some of this is challenging and difficult to digest. But before we got into the general election, and I know you're aware and you're a critical thinker, and that's why you are here as part of this channel and this community. You're a critical thinker, you get it. I said to you, is he scaring you yet? I had no idea how bad this man was going to be, and how quickly the PR gurus have had to get into him and say, look, we're going to have to change it. You're going to have to smile a bit more. You're right then. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. He believes he can do anything he wants. Well, you can't break parliamentary rules and survive. Somebody with possibly ginger hair might just be stepping into your shoes. Well, there'd be high heels, not flats. So thank you for your likes. Before you leave, please make sure that you leave the body of the Kirk in a decent enough state. I don't want the choir boys complaining to me in the morning that it looks like a shit tip. Take the Battenberg if you've got any left. In fact, just leave it in the vestry. I might have some more once I finish this live. Enjoy the altar wine if you've got any left. My name's Adrian Allen. Thank you for your likes this evening. Thank you for your indulgence. Thank you for being there and being part of this community, because we are getting through. We know what's what. And I promise you, I will always act in your support, shoulder to shoulder. Next live, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Hopefully more videos coming, but it's a busy old couple of days. Got to be up early in the morning. And be well, stay well, and we will deal with these people in the only way we know how. We'll just laugh at them. See you Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Don't forget the Battenberg.